Hello. So when you're using the calculator, the TI-84 calculator with the Smart View, you can click on this and it will bring it up. And there's a 90-day free trial. And it works really nice. If you have a calculator, that's fine also. This will show you the steps. So if we wanted to find the probability when x is greater than 94, and I'm using the same mean standard deviation as the problem above. But when you want greater than 94 on the calculator, you bring up the calculator. Well, when you do hit the link, it will bring this up. And you click on whichever one you need depending on the calculator that you have. Like I have Windows. If you have Macintosh, use this one, and then just follow the steps. Okay, so to get into the calculator, it's second distribution. And then we want to use cumulative. So we go down one and we hit enter. Now, depending on what we want, and the one we were doing was greater than 94. That means greater than 94 would be 94 and above. And we need a really large number, then you can just put a bunch of nines. So we want to go 94 and above. Our mean was 76, and the standard deviation was 8, and we hit enter. Now, if you had to do it by hand, you would use this. I mean, some calculators do not give you lower, upper. You have to know that it's the lower number, the upper number, the mean, and the standard deviation. And then hit enter, and it gives you this. Now, this is the decimal, so you multiply it by 100 to get the percent. So unlike the curve I wrote it in percents. This is written in decimals. So we need to multiply it by 100 to get 1.2%. To find a less than value, that means 70 and below, 70 would be our upper value. So when we go to the calculator, second distribution, go down one and hit enter. So we're using normal. Now this is going to be a negative. And you want to be careful. You need to use the negative on the calculator. The minus sign will give you an error. But we need a really small number. And then we're going up to 70. So this would be 70 and below. Same mean and standard deviation. Enter. And it shows you your setup. Hit enter one more time to get your answer. And again, we'd multiply this by 100, so it'd be 22.7%, which is what we got here. In some of the problems, you'll be given the percent, and you want to find what values are in there. When given a percent, you use inverse norm. So it's in the same spot. It's actually one more down in the calculator. What value has 60% of the people below it? And so when you are using this inverse, though, you always want the percent below. It's kind of like a percentile. The percentile tells you what percent is below it. Same thing here. And so 60% of the people are below what value? And to find that, we go to our calculator. Let's clear these screens. Second distribution, but in this case we want the inverse norm, so we want the third one. We hit enter. And it wants the area. Well, we want the area below, and that was, I forgot what percent it was. Let's see which one. It's this one that's highlighted, so we know where it's at. So 60%. And it says below. So our area is 60%, but it's written as a decimal. Our mean was 76 and a standard deviation of 8. Hit enter. And one more time. And that's 78. So the value 78 has 60% below it. And that's how I got the 78. Now, if we want this one, what value has 60% of the people above it? You wouldn't use 60% because you have to, just like a percentile, give the values below. So if 60% is above, 100 minus 60 means 40% is below. So we use 40%. So you go back to your calculator, second distribution, down to the inverse, hit enter. Instead of, we'd have 40. Keeping the mean and the standard deviation to get the same, approximately 74 people are above, I said that wrong, 40% of the people are above the value of 74. So if this was a test, 40% of the people got above a 74. How about what values are the middle 68%? Now, we know middle 68% from our normal curve, so we could go up and see that the middle 68% is 68 to 84. But you can also use the calculator. To use the calculator, if we want to find the lower value of the middle 68, that's the green one, we need the values below. So we need to add these values. And if you add those up, you get 16%. That's where I got the 16 from. These add up to 16. So we'd plug in 16 and we should get 68. Let's see. So if we go to the calculator, second inverse, and instead we want 16. And there's our 68. To find the upper part of the interval for the middle 68, we need to add up the percents all below it. So not only do we need the 16, we need this 34 and this 34. So that adds up to 84%. So we need to plug in 84%. We go over second distribution down to the inverse and hit enter. And we wanted 84. Solve, we get 84, which was what it was. And if we look back at the curve, it was 68 to 84 was the middle 64%. So you can use the calculator. I think it's a lot easier once you get used to it. It has a lot of functions, and more of the chapters to come will also use the calculator. So downloading that free calculator is good if you don't have it. If you have any other questions, just let me know. And thank you.